Hey everyone, we want to welcome you back. The special guest for tonight is Kevin Jasandi. Kev, say hello to the people.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, first and foremost. Checking in live from Philly tonight. So I'm in the zone, ready to talk some sports.
No, dude, that's awesome. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to hop on and talk sports with Bryce and I. I remember in high school, you're a huge fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. And, what better way than to bring you on and talk Eagles tonight?
Walking legend. Living, breathing, walking legend. We got
it. Very excited. Welcome to Broad Street. And here we go. So, Bryce, we'll start off with you. This offseason, the Eagles hired Nick Sirianni to be their new head coach. Do you trust the hire, or do you think he's going to be a bust?
I'm not going to lie. I don't even have to think about this for a second. I'm complete bust. The first press conference did it for me. I mean, he just doesn't look like he can be in the number one guy in an organization, be the head of 53 men plus the coaching staff. I just like that. The interview was, we all watched it. It was the cringiest thing I've ever seen. It was like a kid giving a speech to his class in like fifth grade. It was just embarrassing to watch. It was brutal. And then I also want to say, he's a young guy. He doesn't have a lot of head coaching experience. He's not coming from like a Belichick type tree or an Andy Reid type tree. He's coming from a Frank Wright tree, which he hasn't been a head coach for very long. I also I don't like where the team's at right now. I see him. I want to compare him. I don't know if you guys remember the Bears after they fired Lovie Smith. They hired a guy named Mark Trustman. He was there for like maybe a season and a half, and they fired him. That's how I see Nick Sirianni. He's just a guy they're going to get rid of. He's just there for a little bit of a rebuild. He's there for a year or two where they can go out and find like an actual real head coach. That's what I feel like this hiring is, me personally.
Bryce, good comments. Kev, do you got anything?
Yeah, honestly, I tend to agree with Bryce on this one. Dude, I just feel like the chips are kind of, stacked against him in a sense. He comes so young, so inexperienced. Like when I thought about this, like there's nothing to base him off of, if that makes sense. Like he's just an offensive coordinator from the Colts who's had, pretty good success, I would say. Never got to where they really wanted to go with Sirianni, but I don't know, like from the top down, owner to GM to his staff around him and even the team, like I don't know if he's set up to succeed. We right as of now, we got a young quarterback. It's tough to succeed with him. If you were Doug Peterson, if you were Bill Belichick, who's had success. So I mean, I don't know. It's tough to see him succeeding. I pray he does, but honestly, right now, I gotta lean towards bust, for all those reasons. And I just feel like it's the GM's the problem, but when the owner and GM and the top is a problem, it'll trickle down and it's hard to succeed like that.
Bryce, you got something to add?
Yeah, like I just want to say, like, imagine we're playing the Cowboys, like a division rival. It's a huge game. It's the end of the season. We need to win the game, and like it's a tie game at halftime. And like, do you see this guy hyping up the team at halftime? I just don't see a guy getting my quarterback, getting my team fired up for like a huge game. Like he just seems like a nervous wreck. He doesn't seem like he's fully capable and ready to coach an NFL team. I'm not saying he can't do it, but like to me personally, I just don't see it. I don't see this guy firing me up. I don't see him being a winning coach. And also, like, I want to say, like, it's not like he had crazy success with the Colts. They were a first round exit. Like, I mean, they weren't anything special. I mean, yeah, they gave the Bills a good run, but they weren't a crazy good team. We watched them all year. They were a solid team, but we all knew they weren't better than a second round team. And I mean, to give a guy a head coaching job, I also just feel like it was a panic hire. We didn't get anybody we thought we could have gotten. And I mean, I just feel like we're in a real bad, 2-year stretch. I just don't think he has a prayer to do well.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on some of your guys' points, you guys, started with the age, and I just found out today, Nick Sirianni is 39 years old. I mean, I think Jason Peters is the same age as now his head coach. I was looking up, I found a statistic today. Last year in the NFL, the average age for a coaching staff for a team was 49 years old, right? Nick Sirianni comes into Philadelphia. Guess what the average age of this coaching staff is this year?
30.
I'm going to say like 40 years old on the dot.
35 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say lower.
So young. And that is definitely one of my concerns. However, I don't know if the Eagles, when I first heard about the hire, I thought it was kind of like a Jerry Jones hire when he hired Mike McCarthy. I think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie were kind of looking for, and I'm not saying like a puppet or anything, but they were looking for a guy that they can control from up top. We're saying like, yo, put him in at this position, line up this way, call these kind of plays. I don't know what's going on truly, but that's what my initial reaction. Bryce, to touch on your point about, firing the guys up at halftime or like when we're down, losing to the Cowboys, big divisional game. I got to disagree with you on that one. I think Nick Sirianni is that guy. According to the new defensive coordinator for the Eagles, I didn't even know his name until today. Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
Heard of him? Where's he from?
Who'd you say? The defensive coordinator?
Yeah, Jonathan Gannon. I never heard of him.
He came from the Colts with Sirianni.
He came from the Colts with Sirianni?
I'm pretty sure he was a Colts guy too.
Okay. Yep. All right. So, yeah. In an interview, Gannon described Nick Sirianni as exhaustingly competitive. And, Bryce, when you talked about that opening conference was absolutely brutal. But I think a guy like that had so much built up adrenaline for his first, head coaching job with the Eagles. But, to touch back on what Gannon said about him, he says Nick Sirianni would bring him in. They would talk football, talk situations, X's and O's. And when they look back up at the clock, Gannon would be like, I've been here for 3 hours. Like, I got to go home and, take care of my family, be with my family. But Sirianni was staying, watching film, doing all that kind of stuff. And the way Frank Reich talks about him and his work ethic, I definitely think it's there. And I'm hoping that he's kind of like a Sean McVay for this team. I don't think Nick Sirianni is going to be a bust. However, I do not trust him with the Philadelphia Eagles organization because it's the Philadelphia Eagles organization. I think Nick Sirianni will succeed at the NFL level, but it won't be with this team. I think there's, like you guys said, there's too much dysfunction going on in that organization right now. And for a guy who's never had any head coaching experience at the NFL level, I mean, I heard he wasn't even calling plays in Indianapolis. I don't know if that's true.
That's absolutely terrifying to me.
Did you guys hear that? I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, Reich.
That too. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of Reich, and I could definitely see Reich making the play calls. Yes, the Colts haven't been, dominant. They're a very good, consistent team. But you got to look. I mean, when Andrew Luck departed, they had nobody at that quarterback position to fill in. Jacoby Brissett, not a bad player, but he's not.
That's a great point.
He's not filling in and being a stud quarterback. Philip Rivers, obviously, on the total back end of his career, he just retired. I don't know about you guys. I think Carson Wentz can come in there and be something, but, the conversation is not about him. So Nick Sirianni and the Colts didn't really have stuff to work with. But like you guys said, the franchise just seems too dysfunctional right now for Nick Sirianni to succeed with them. I trust him as a head coach, but not for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think it's going to work out at all. Do you guys have any, final thoughts, anything to add about him, what you heard?
I mean, I hope.
Go ahead, Bryce.
No, you go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I was just going to sum it up. Like, I think all three of us agree, he might not necessarily succeed in Philly, but I definitely agree, Jim, when you say, this is just like his first start. He'll succeed in the future. But I could absolutely see that. I mean, dude, he comes from Reich, which isn't the greatest coaching tree, but they have had success. I mean, I don't know. I mean, time will tell, like it does all. But I sure hope he could figure this thing out. And I think is Hurts our quarterback, or do you go and get a veteran to help Sirianni? Because like two young guys, starting, they're coming up together. If you can get a vet, whether, I don't care, throw out a name.
Go Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Yeah, we got
Flacco.
Exactly. Which is the controversy I don't think any of us are ready for. But you get a guy like that and he can learn. I mean, dude, that could be good because Flacco's on the bench, bringing him up, teaching him things, but
showing Hurts the ways. Yeah, Bryce, go ahead. You had something to add before Kevin talked there?
No, I mean, I couldn't agree with Kevin anymore. I could see him having success. I just don't think he has a chance with the Eagles. I think he's built in just a bad situation. He's getting thrown in there with the Wolves, and he's just got to fight his way out, and I don't think he can do it.
He's literally getting thrown into a dumpster fire. When you look at the team, last year they went 4-11-1, 4 wins, 11 losses, and a tie. And then the only Super Bowl winning head coach in the franchise's history just got fired. And now you're asking a 39-year-old with a staff that's our age to come in and replace what was just established in that organization. Like, I don't see how it's going to work out. That's why I could see Nick Sirianni, just like Doug did, getting up and getting out of there. I think it's not going to work. It's a shame because I kind of like Nick Sirianni. Like, I heard a story about him. I don't know if you guys heard this. He played football when he was younger. And just to give you guys like an idea on his like mindset, and this is where I think like he is a good coach. And like, I agree with what everybody else says. He suffered an injury his junior year of high school. He damaged his leg. They called it compartment syndrome. And it's like where intense swelling stymies the blood and oxygen flow. And he rested for a couple weeks. And when Nick Sirianni, noticed something was wrong, he developed a staph infection. And this guy nearly lost his life. And, thank God of those doctors, they saved him. But, after recovering from an injury like that, he returned his senior year. And in his first game back, the guy had 4 catches for 110 yards and 2 tutties. So I know it's at the high school level and stuff like that, and he might not be playing good competition, but that right there, like, shows that he's got the love, he's got the passion, he's got the heart for football. And that's why I think he's going to be a good coach. It's just not going to be here in Philadelphia.
I mean, that's a really cool story and all, but that's just not going to make, he could just be a horrible head coach. It's just like, that's the truth. That's a great story. Good for him. I'm glad he figured that out and came back a senior year and did all that, but he could just be I think he's a liability at head coach. Absolute liability.
Big baller move to come back from that injury, but
I'm not saying that has anything to do with coaching. I know. I'm not saying that has anything to do with this coaching. I think that has something to do when it comes to mentality. Not giving up, being able to rally guys and truly like lead a team. The Philadelphia Eagles, they got a huge mix of players from veterans to, young guys. I don't know how it's going to work out this year or what Nick Sirianni is going to do to, gain control of that locker room. But it's hard to replace Doug Peterson, what that era just brought, and take over this team and expect to have some success this year at all.
I agree.
Yes, sir. Couldn't agree more.
All right, fellas. Well, great work on that segment. Good points, solid points. We're going to switch over now, talking about sticking with, Eagles' success. The other day, Vegas came out over under 6.5 wins. What do we think?
I'll start off, man. I'm nailing the over on this one. I don't know if you can bet this yet at the sports books, but I think it's free money. 6.5, right? That's what you said?
Yep, 6.5.
Yeah. So this is how I kind of thought about it. Let's say you have 8 division games, 4 teams, you play them twice. Cool. Let's say you win 2 of those games, which is horrendous. Again, especially against our division. I know it's getting better, but you win 2 games, right? So you go 2-6 in the division. You're playing guys like, I do not have the schedule in front of me, but I saw our schedule. I don't know if you guys know this, easiest schedule in the league. Just saw that a few weeks ago. Easiest schedule in the league. You're playing guys like winnable games. You're playing. Don't draw a blank now, Kev.
No, you're good. I got the schedule right here.
Yeah, go ahead. You're playing out like the Denvers of the world. That's winnable. Go ahead.
At home, the Eagles they're welcoming the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the 49ers.
Yeah, Kev, I don't know about the easy schedule.
We'll let him finish this point. Hold on. No, and Bryce, it's actually true. I agree with, they came out according to, I think it was Pro Football Focus or whatever, 32nd ranked schedule when it comes to, hardest to easiest.
Yeah. So
the Eagles are at the easiest schedule. I don't know what they were looking at, but when I just mentioned off Those
No.
5 teams. But anyway, I'll let – and then like you said, they play the Cowboys twice, Giants twice, Washington football team twice. Also, they travel on the road. They'll be playing the Detroit Lions, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Carolina Panthers, the New York Jets. I don't know why my throat's all.
It's all good.
Good.
Falcons and the Broncos.
Okay, yeah. Now when you name off those teams and count with my fingers, that's 7 winnable games. Falcons, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. Dude, it's 7 winnable games plus the 2 I gave you from the division. So going 2-6, which is horrendous. I think you should at least finish 3-6 if we're being honest. And then you add those 7 winnable games. That's what 10 winnable games. Like if you slip up on a few, like you're still over. They added a week. There's 17 games this year. I mean,
very good point.
Dude, Hurts, if he's our guy and this is the team we're going with, we don't know our first round picks. We don't know our draft picks yet. I get that, and late free agency signings, whatnot. But absolutely, I just personally like the over.
That 17 game schedule is a good point. Bryce, what do you think?
Man, I'm gonna have to disagree with my guy Kevin. I absolutely love the under. I mean, and I'm not an under guy. Don't ever bet the under. Life's too short to do that. But I mean, how I see it is, I mean, at the end of the day, I will say this: when it comes to the division, we tend to not do very well against the Redskins or the Washington football team. My bad. Washington football team. We don't like. I mean, you guys can agree we don't tend to do very well against them. I can name all the time literally week 1 last year, we should easily beat them. We let them come back and win. We've managed to dominate the Giants over the last couple of years, but I said last podcast, I think the Giants like an up and coming great team. I think Daniel Jones is going to have that year where he proves that he's going to be a stud. Kenny Galladay, I could talk about them. They made a bunch of great signings, and I think the Cowboys are solid. I think Prescott coming back, he proved to me last year that he's definitely a good quarterback. He's definitely solid. And I mean, we're not going to beat it's tough to we're not going to beat great teams like the Chiefs. That's going to be bad. The Chargers are up and coming. Like Jim said, I don't have the schedule in front of my face, but from what Jim told me, we got, the Chargers, they could be solid. Another team that the Buccaneers, obviously Super Bowl champs. Tom Brady's not going to lose to a team like that. And also, like, another thing is Jalen Hurts. We're not even set on him being the guy. We can make a crazy move in the draft. Howie Roseman is not above doing anything. This team is not set. And also I feel like the locker room split 50-50. We don't have, some guys probably are really for Hurts and other guys are probably not about him. And I also don't think we've had a significant leader in the locker room since Malcolm Jenkins left. It's tough not to have a leader like that. It's tough not for a team to fall back on a leader. I mean, when this team, if they start out the season 0-3 and they don't have a leader to pick them back up, I don't see this team being very successful, plus a new coach.
With that being said,
not to interrupt, I just want to make my first bold statement of the night. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles here. And as you guys know, crazy stuff happens with this team. Every Sunday, that's why it's so good to be an Eagles fan, because every Sunday you truly never know.
No idea.
Sunday, right? My prediction is they beat one, not both. They beat one of the Chiefs or the Bucks. Why? Because it's a typical, so typical.
So typical. I'll give you that.
They beat the Saints this year. No one expected.
Roll back this tape. We can roll back this tape, which is so great. I'll take the L if I take the L, but they'll beat one of the Chiefs. Or
like the back of the day when Sam Bradford beat Tom Brady in New England.
I was just going to set up.
99-yard pick six, bro. Shout out to the boy Jenk, bro. Baller.
Good.
Still wears jersey every Sunday, bro. Baller.
Absolutely got to.
Bryce, how many wins do you expect?
I hate to say it, but I'm not expecting any more than probably 4. Maybe I'll give them 5, but I'm not. I mean, I just don't know, man. I just don't see where this team's going. I mean, to be fair, they could make a move on the draft that I could really, really like, but I don't know, man. This team doesn't have a lot of talent. The wide receiver position is horrible right now. The running back position, I mean, yes, we have Miles Sanders, but it's good to have like another, couple backs. I know we brought back Jordan Howard, but obviously Jordan Howard is on the tail end of his career. But like, it's just, I mean, the linebacker situation is obviously brutal. The cornerback situation is terrible. I mean, it's just, I could go on. And the new coaches, I just don't know, man. I want to see him win. I always, I don't want to see him go into a rebuild. I hate to see it, but I just feel like it's time. It's time for us to go into a rebuild. We're coming off, those years after the Super Bowl. It's just time.
Kev, how about you?
Yeah, no, You
You said over. You said over. You said over. Do you think 7, 9?
Dude, I mean, well, my gut tells me 7 and 10. How weird does that sound?
17 and 0?
17 and 0. Nah, I'm going 7 and 10. Sounds so weird. Okay.
Glad you're realistic. Like you weren't gonna go all crazy and give him like a win.
No, it's the over. I'm happy, dude. I'd bet it. Like I'd bet $1,000. Like it's the over. But I gotta watch.
You can't take that back, Kevin. You just let that fly. $1,000. Kevin Gasandi, a full unit play on the Eagles.
Actually, I don't take that back at all. I've learned that from Dave Portnoy. Never take anything back. Shout out to Dave. But he's a GOAT, hands down the GOAT. I had to mention my boy at some point. But yeah, 7 and 10. But if this is our quarterback room and we go from Hurts, let's say he gets hurt and we go to Flacco, oh my God. I will not be
Super Bowl MVP. That's a Super Bowl MVP.
I will not be watching Eagles games if Flacco's under center. I can't do it.
I'm saying this right now. Flacco will be in a quarterback at some point.
Yes, 100%. I agree with
that. Due to injury or are you predicting?
At some point. Injury, trade.
He's going to take at least 10 snaps. I would 10 snaps at center this year.
Hopefully they're the knees at the end of the game.
Yeah, I hope so too. I don't want to see Hurts get hurt, but I just know for a fact Flacco's getting in there.
Hurts does. I will say this. Hurts, from what I watched last year, what do we have? A 3-4 game sample of him, but he runs wild for sure, and he's a tremendous runner. I love the way he plays, but he does kind of protect himself well. But in today's game, and unless your name's Lamar Jackson, bro, it catches up to you, get hurt. That's the only guy I can name who doesn't get hurt.
Mike Vick
wears you down. It's funny you brought up his running, Kev. This guy ran for 354 yards last year. In 4 games.
Crazy.
3 touchdowns and 63 carries. Take that over a 16-game span. This guy's rushing 10 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. I don't see how that can work. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's a great athlete. I just don't see him having much success because running quarterbacks, they just break down quicker because they're pulling out of the pocket and they're taking hits.
The only quarterback I can remember. The only quarterback sorry to go off topic. There's only actually 2 quarterbacks I remember that can run like that and never get hit. One of them's Mike Vick. We all know how good he was. And the other one's Kyler Murray. I watch him every week. That guy never gets hit. It's tough to avoid. Like Lamar Jackson gets hit every week. Hurts.
Kyler runs. Kyler's comparison-wise, I think he's very similar to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I agree.
Short, low to the ground, stays in the pocket more so than he does run.
100%. Yep.
But I think Jalen Hurts, I don't know. I think he's a run-first guy. He only completed 52% of his passes last year.
Which is horrible. That's
horrible. Terrible. Now, granted, that wide receiving core, awful. Is that what you were going to say?
Exactly. Come on, man. Who's he throwing to?
You're throwing to no one. No chemistry. You're getting walk-on guys, and nothing against them. I know they're working hard and everything like that to get on the spot.
Young, absolutely. Shout out to all those young guys. Hopefully,
I love Fulgham. Why we didn't play him more, I have no idea. He was a stud. He was helping Wentz out a lot. He was helping the team out in general, scoring touchdowns against Pittsburgh. And I forget the other team he had a big game. But
man, I saw Fulgham play against the Ravens. That guy can play football.
He's athletic. He's athletic, and I don't know why we did not give him more time. Rager. Someone says that Doug Peterson wanted him badly. I don't know why. I think he'll have a better season this year. Hopefully Nick Sirianni can make him that slot, that kind of like.
I'm completely out on him. I'm not gonna lie. He's like on that JJ Argo-Whiteside thing with me. Like, just get him out. Like, I don't want anything to do with him.
You know what Jalen Rager's biggest problem is? His name's not Justin Jefferson, bro. Nobody will ever get past that, ever.
You're 1,000% right there.
I can't.
Yeah, I don't know how you let that slip by. But to go back to that Eagles schedule, I agree with Bryce on this one, Kev. I'm sorry, but I see 4 wins. If I see them beating the Lions, Detroit's in another similar situation like this. They're young. Jared Goff's coming into a system that he does not know. first-year head coach. I can't talk.
No, I agree. I mean, they definitely should. I think Detroit will probably be the worst team in the league. So I definitely think they could pick up a win there. They're going to win a division game. They're definitely going to win at least one, like on accident. If they like accidentally win one, they're going to win. Whether it's also a botched punt, a missed field goal, something stupid, they're going to win one game. I mean, I can only hope. I don't want to see them lose, but I mean, that's two. But I just don't see them beating even somewhat decent teams. Like I think Justin Herbert's a stud. I think he'll beat us. I don't know. I just think a lot. Like I just don't see him winning games, especially close ones. If they're somehow close, like don't see them pulling out wins.
I think they'll beat the Jets. Terrible organization. I don't even know who they're picking this year. Doesn't seem like they have an idea either. And I think they beat the Broncos. Broncos didn't even have a quarterback last year.
The Broncos might be solid. I don't like Drew Lock, but I think they've got a really good team all around. They've improved this year for sure.
Where are the Broncos picking this year? Are they 9?
They're somewhere around there. I think
they're 9.
9.
Or Dallas is 9. Broncos
no, they're
are
10.
No, Dallas is 10.
No, they're 9. Yeah, they're 9.
9 and
2.
Do we think the Broncos trade up and get a quarterback? Because they're out of that. Or do you think they can wait and get a guy like Justin Fields?
I heard some crazy rumors that they might get Matt Ryan. I mean, I don't think he's very good anymore, but I heard some rumors that they could be making a trade to get Matt Ryan. I don't,
I can see that. John Elway likes those old quarterbacks.
Yeah, he does.
Now, if they make the trade for Matt Ryan, did you hear anything else? Or the Falcons getting that pick? Like, how's that working?
I heard, that's what I heard. I heard Drew Lock will obviously be involved. And probably, I assume not another first round pick, but probably a couple of middle round picks. But yeah, I mean, that's what I haven't really heard much about it. I just heard, I think it was actually not Adam Schefter, but maybe Rappaport said something about that the Broncos were definitely looking to get like a veteran quarterback that's still solid nearing the end of his career. And I think
because when you look at it, the Broncos are terrible at drafting quarterbacks.
Horrible. Paxton Lynch, I mean, just terrible.
And I think the Eagles and Cowboys will split. So I think 4 wins for the Eagles. Trying to see.
I couldn't agree anymore. 4 wins for sure. I mean, they're just not 5 wins to the moon for me. I keep thinking about the team. I keep looking at the roster with no leader, no nothing. I just don't see them doing it. I just don't. And the momentum, if they fall first, lose the first couple of games, how are they going to bounce back?
Yeah, who's your pick? Go ahead,
especially if Hurts is the quarterback. Like he's a young guy. He's not a veteran, and he's used to winning in college. He never lost in college ever.
This guy hasn't played a full season yet. I don't expect how he can win. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or expect him to win. Kev, who's your pick for the division?
Right now, dude, the football team's tough. The Dallas is going to be tough. Dude, the Giants are going to be tough. It's honestly still a toss up to me. If I had to say my winner right now, I would have to go Dallas. I think Dak. I think Dak. What you say?
That just hurt to listen to.
I can't believe you just put that on Broad Street.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking you off right now.
You're never getting invited back. You're never getting invited back. So whatever you say, get it out now because this is your last episode.
Yeah, this is it, Kev.
I'm just being real. I came on here to be real. It's April 14th. That's my gut feeling. Dak's by far he's the most proven best quarterback in this division. Don't sleep on my boy Fitzmagic though.
Yeah,
but no, the football team's tough, but I don't know. Dallas, they got a lot of weapons. They might draft Kyle Pitts. I heard they're in love if he drops, which I don't think he will, but I don't know. If they can get that defense shored up, they should win this division pretty easily.
Right, so who do you got?
But don't sleep on the Giants, man. I'm telling you, especially after this draft, if they take Smith
they're my pick.
That offense is filthy. They got guys.
I was just gonna pick up. I'm all on it hates to say because I hate the Giants more than anybody, but I'm all over the Giants. I think they're gonna be unbelievable this year. I really do.
If they hit in this draft, watch out. Like if they
get like a Waddle or a Smith, man, that team is gonna be deadly. I think Daniel Jones is due for a really, really big year. Plus, everyone's forgetting Saquon Barkley might be the best running back. To me, he's probably the best running back in football. They're getting him back. Defense looked great last year. They were top 10. The coach looks solid.
Take on a couple games to get going, but he's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud.
For sure.
So you have Washington, Bryce?
No, I got Giants.
Oh, Giants, my bad. And Kev, you got Cowboys?
Got to stick with it, right? I said it.
I was going to give you an opportunity to take that back, but
Giants are a very close second, but right now I'm rolling with Dak. Dude, they got weapons down there too. Don't Amari, Lamb, Zeke, if he could get back to form. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like we hear the same story with Dallas every year, and I think it always falls through. I don't think McCarthy's a good coach. I think he got, not lucky. I mean, you got to be a good coach to win a Super Bowl, but having Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers, that helps.
Absolutely.
Dak coming off an injury, I don't know how that's going to work. And, that offensive line is old and their defense is shaky.
Not shaky. Defense is hard.
I was like for me, it's a no-brainer for who the Eagles have to pick. You gotta go either wide receiver or cornerback. That's a blatant, clear, obvious hole in our team. The Cowboys need to fill holes on defense, and yet every year they're picking these offensive guys who are studs. CeeDee Lamb is going to be a beast. I can't believe that we didn't trade up that second round pick.
Still hurts. Don't say his name. Don't say his name here, please. That still hurts me.
I would have traded that second round pick and a third round pick to get him.
I couldn't agree more. I talk about it all the time. It hurts.
But, and now the Cowboys are trying to get Pitts. Like, defense wins. Like, I don't think people realize, like, the Buccaneers were loaded on offense this year. We all agree. Yeah. But that defense shut down the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, shut down the Chiefs. Like, Patrick Mahomes got nothing. Tyreek Hill got nothing. Kelsey, I think he had a couple of yards late in the game. But defense wins, and the Cowboys do not have defense. I'm going Washington again.
I love it. We all got three different teams.
I think they run it back. I think the football team runs it back because Chase Young, that dude is bad. He's a good player.
They probably have the best defensive line in football. Like they
have Chase Young. Who's the other guy? Who's the defensive tackle?
Sweat, and they got Jonathan Allen.
Yeah. Bama boy, Allen. Yeah.
I was gonna say Bama boy. I wanted him in the draft back in the day over Barnett.
And
yeah, I remember that he was like 3 picks after, I believe.
Yeah, that's hurting right now. Allen's a stud.
Did Ronald Darby re-sign with them?
No, Denver.
Yeah, Denver.
Denver. He did go to Denver. Was that a 2-year deal or something? He signed for a decent amount of money.
Very good deal.
He's not a bad player. I've always been a fan.
You know what's on his resume that a lot of corners don't have? A ring.
I was just gonna say that.
Dude, he's a starting cornerback on a Super Bowl team. Like Mills, my boy Mills gets all his hate. I would like to chop off his finger as well as other fans with the no-nos, but Super Bowl winning cornerback, can't take it away. And he got a pretty good deal.
He got paid.
I think he'll do well in New England. I related to, we had, who was it? Patrick Chung came over.
Yeah, he was
no success with us. Goes back in Bill Belichick's defense, flourishes. Does great. He goes back to being, a very good safety. Ended up winning another Super Bowl with them. I think Mills will fit in nicely on that team. But yeah, go back. I'm taking Washington. Like you said, Fitzmagic. I'm all in. Who was they got McLaurin. I think he's another stud. And who was
Curtis Samuel?
Yep, Curtis. I was just going to say.
Samuel. And the Redskins running back. I can't think of his name. Gallman? No, that's Wayne Gallman's Giants. What'd you say?
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, they got Gibson. Was like third in rookie of the year last year. He rushed for like 1,200 yards and like 11.
He did well last year. Yeah, he did well.
They're good down there in Washington.
Plus, man, you got to back. Ron Rivera is a unbelievable coach. He's an unbelievable coach.
Great point, because I totally forgot about him. Because when you look at that playoff game, granted it was the wild card, whatever, they almost beat the Buccaneers.
They were the only team.
And nothing against
the Buccaneers. They were the only team with Taylor Heineke as their quarterback.
And nothing against. I was about to say nothing against Taylor Heineke.
That guy was in like the UFL or whatever, the Vince McMahon league. That like literally 4 months before that, and now he's starting in a playoff game against Brady, and he gave him a run. Like it looked like the Buccaneers were not.
That guy played well. He played his balls off for sure.
Exactly. Like they were in that game, and now Fitzpatrick's quality quarterback. Like, he's had some success.
My dad's all-time favorite player. Shout out, Rick.
Dude, how can you not love him? Magic, bro, the beard.
Yeah, dude, he's the man, dude.
His outfits after the game.
Smartest man in the league. Smartest man to ever play in the NFL.
I wanted the Eagles to sign Fitzpatrick.
I've been wanting them to sign him forever, dude. Oh my god.
I don't like. What's mind-boggling to me? Last year they had an opportunity to sign Joe Flacco to back up Wentz. They drafted Hurts, then they trade Wentz. Now they sign. Now they're all in on Hurts, and now they decide to bring in Flacco, like, who's not going to compete for the job. He's not.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Howie Roseman's building this team around Joe Flacco. Don't be surprised.
He still thinks it's Joe Flacco's Super Bowl MVP year.
I'll leave the podcast right now, man. Joe Flacco. Are we serious?
Oh man, could you imagine seeing that update on our phones pop up? Joe Flacco now the starting quarterback for the Eagles.
Former Super Bowl. I'd just be saying former Super Bowl MVP.
I hate to give the guy, I hate to give him so much hate, but dude, if there's one word to describe him right now, he sucks. That's how I feel.
You talking Howie?
No, well, oh yeah, he sucks too. But Flacco, that's what I meant.
Yeah, he's old. He's just old. I mean, he had a good run with the Falcons for a little bit. That defense was loaded. The Ravens defense was insane. They were you were in fantasy. That was the only defense that you were picking within like the top 10 rounds. You had to get them because they were an easy 20 points a game.
It wasn't a bad pick. It wasn't a bad pick in round like 7 or 8. Like I didn't hate. Yeah.
Like that was like an expected pick.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let me hold on. How do you guys feel about talking defense? How do you guys feel about our defense this year?
I'll start. We definitely have holes still. A veteran defensive line. It's about staying healthy still. You got Cox, Graham up front, holding it down. Barnett still. But you got young guys, Sweat, Hargrave. I think the defensive line's okay. I love the linebacker we just got from Minnesota. Can't say I watched him too much but I've watched highlights. What I saw, from what I've heard, from a picture I've seen, blood on his visor, I'm all in. But linebackers.
Oh, my bad, cut you off. You're referring to Anthony Harris, right?
Anthony Harris is a safety we acquired.
Eric Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
And then who's the young kid started playing well last year? Singleton, right?
Alex Singleton.
Yeah,
Canadian
they're too good. They're too good young linebackers to start. And then the secondary, McLeod and Harris, love the Harris signing. Only signing, we've made in the free agency period. Love that signing. And then you got Slay on one side, and then who knows, maybe Surtain or Horn on the other side. We'll see.
Bryce, how do you feel about defense?
I gotta say, coming into tonight, I felt terrible, but now that Kevin just kind of went through it, I feel a little bit better.
Calm my nerves down.
Yeah, I'm a little. You definitely calm my nerves down. I think the Eagles should make some moves, though. Definitely in the draft. I think Derek Barnett, I think we can all agree, was a bit of a disappointment. He had a great rookie season. He kind of reminds me of Javion Clowney. He killed it one year and then kind of just stayed the same and regressed a little bit. I think we can move him. I'm big on Josh Sweat. I think Josh Sweat is a stud.
Just about to talk about him.
Every time that guy's in, he makes a play, whether it's getting to the quarterback or actually sacking the quarterback, anything. He was one of our very few really great picks we had. Obviously, Cox is nearing the end of his career, but he's still a really solid player. Same with Graham. The linebacker, Eric Wilson, was a huge ad. That was like out of nowhere. Our linebacker core has been horrible. Obviously, I don't need to mention Nate Gary, possibly the worst NFL player we've ever seen. But, getting a guy from Minnesota that's easily slept on. I mean, getting 122 tackles in one season is no joke. I mean, you got to be legit good. I mean, there's no excuse. There's nothing. You can't make up anything. If you get 122 tackles in a season, you're a solid player. The Harris deal is unbelievable. I mean, 2 years ago, if this guy was a free agent, even a year ago, if this guy was a free agent, he's getting big money. So he's coming off a little bit of a down year or whatever. Signing him for a 5-year deal, it's a win-win situation for the Eagles. He could be terrible and it wouldn't even matter too much because we're not paying him too much. It's only a 1-year deal. Or he could be outstanding. It'd be a great 1-year signing. Him and McLeod together, I think, will be solid. I'm not a big Slay guy. I think we all know that. I think we should.
I am.
We should look to move him just because he's older. He's not great, but if we could keep him, if we go cornerback in the first round, I really like that because I think Slay, obviously being an all-pro type guy, he could teach that. He could teach a kid like that. And cornerbacks last, man. Let's not forget about Darrelle Revis. If we could somehow, some way draft a guy like that, you're sitting at a guy that kept elite wide receivers under 35 yards for 5-10 plus seasons.
All right, so let me ask you a quick question. Talking about Anthony Harris, guy was a stud 2 years ago. Vikings defense has been good consistently for the past couple of years now. Why does he get a make or break it deal, 1-year deal with a team like the Eagles? That concerns me.
That concerns me too, but also I think he's a little older, and it's defensive backs, man. It's tough for those guys to get paid. It's kind of similar to a running back position. They're replaceable. You draft young guys, they come up, whatever. It wasn't long ago. I know obviously we all remember the name Clinton Dix. 3 or 4 years ago, he was a solid player. Teams wanted him. People thought he was going to get paid. He's out of the league. They get replaced. It's the way the league works. They're a replaceable position. You don't like to guarantee a guy a lot of money at that spot. It's the same reason why we let Jenkins go. It's tough to give a guy a lot of money at that position. It is. It's a tough position to give money to, and that's what I think. But the guy led the league in interceptions 2 years ago. Led the league in interceptions, and it was
sorry to cut you off. Guess how many interceptions he had last year?
I'm going to say 0.
No. 0.
Yeah.
0 interceptions last year. So that for me is a little bit alarming, and no teams really wanted him. But I think maybe, like you said, he was looking for a little bit too much money, trying to get his payday, and no teams wanted to offer up.
Also you got it. I know this, doesn't mean a lot because it's like us talking, but I read Vikings blogs, I read their fan pages. They are upset that guy is gone. They are not happy with letting him go, especially with the deal. I saw multiple comments saying that the Eagles got a great player on a great deal. So
how many years was he with the Vikings? Do you know?
I don't want to say. I want to say he actually was there for a decent amount of time, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know the exact number, but I think
around. I just don't think he really came on into. It's tough to really be the Vikings they're not like a super relevant crazy team. It's not like Kirk Cousins is their starting quarterback, so it's tough to stay super relevant over there. That's tough.
All right, well, fellas, dude, that was great. We talked about Nick Sirianni, covered the division and the over-under for the Eagles. Kev, thank you for coming on. Awesome job today. I'll take back what I said. I'm still very upset, deep down right now with you and the Cowboys pick. I can't believe you said that on a recorded video.
No, that's got me upset. That's got me down bad right now.
We're very upset. Bryce and I we'll talk back with our committee and see if we're going to invite you back on. No, I'm only kidding. Great job. Bryce, good work. Good points, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Shout out to you boys. Sick podcast, bro. I had to hop on. I got to mention, dude, I was inspired from a podcast I watched, BFFs, dude. Best podcast. Let's say second best. This is the best.
This is best.
Dave Portnoy, Josh Richards. But dude, this was a blast. It was fun.
No, it was an honor. It was an honor having. Obviously the viewers don't know Kev like we do. This guy is a living, breathing, walking legend. There's not somebody from our area that doesn't know this guy. He's
and like you said, Bryce, the guy knows his Philly sports up and down, and
absolutely.
Great conversations and stuff like that. Brought up key points. Definitely looking forward to the next episode when you're on. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, fellas.